So I'm working for Uber.
Yeah.
Right. So Uber is in the business of matching drivers and riders.
So how much you make in your first job after PhD? Why Uber?
Yeah, you're living in poverty, you're getting paid shit. Oh, these guys were so stupid. They believe in this bullshit.
Hello world, welcome to Smart Money Podcast. My name is Kirill Sokolov, and today my guest is Roman Istomin. Roman, thank you for accepting the invitation.
Sure.
I'm glad to see you today. So you are a pretty smart guy. You are PhD in economic, right?
Yeah, economics.
And also you work as a data scientist or applied scientist. So tell me the difference, because I Google it and I realized that data scientist industry expand and there are some deviation of responsibilities, and there is like data scientist, research scientist, and applied scientist. Right? Can you take a little bit more?
It depends on the company, more or less. It used to be all. So what is now called applied science in most companies used to be called data science, and what is called data science now used to be called data engineers. So basically, I think that's the trend that some company from Seattle that started with A, ends with N, forgot its name, developed. I think they were the ones who just decided to rename everything, but not real. So basically the difference is data scientists now, they are helping applied scientists do their job very well. So they're,
what do you mean helping?
So they're guys who are understanding SQL very well, all the flavors of it, how to write a good query, where the data lays, how to merge better, they have all this knowledge about underlyings of where data is. Applied scientists, they are mostly responsible for building models, thinking about product change, designing experiments, analyzing experiments, in sequences.
Sounds like applied scientist slightly more interesting job in terms of like in business terms, and data scientist or data engineer is more like technical position, right?
Depends on what you like. Always, different people like different things. Some people would find really boring thinking about the new experiment. Other people would find it, wouldn't find it in themselves to just go write a real good query that runs in time and stuff. So it really depends mostly on what you like. Both things can be really interesting. Both things can be really boring.
Got it. So what is your favorite part of your job as an applied scientist?
Yeah, my favorite part would probably be developing, improving the product, and seeing how we can engineer solutions to measure some property that's valuable for a company, and then implement it, test it out, launch it into a product, see the change it brings.
So you're saying like engineer solutions. So it's mostly, even when you're data scientist, right? So you're closer to engineering than to...
Sometimes you have to be. Sometimes, your boss comes to you and he says, we need to measure this thing. I don't know what it is, but we need something like that. And then you need to go out and figure out the feasible way to measure what your boss wants.
Can you provide like real life example? What is in a real
last thing. Oh no, did you talk where I'm working? So I'm working for Uber.
Yeah.
Right. So Uber is in the business of matching drivers and riders.
Yep.
And there's an idea where we might lack drivers, where there is more riders than we can serve, basically. Right. And we know that drivers move around, right? And there are
it's
hundreds of thousands of drivers
at time, right? So there are peaks.
Yeah, and we want to understand, do they come closer to where we want them, right? And just measuring how close they are to where we want them, it's not a trivial task at all, Right? So you can measure driver by driver, but it wouldn't be feasible. Just function that computes distances really takes a lot of time.
Yeah,
it wouldn't be feasible, right? And I just recently designed a way to measure a distance in such a way that it doesn't depend on the number of drivers, so it doesn't scale with number of drivers. Right? So it's a fixed cost of computation, and it doesn't scale. So it was pretty engineering task.
So basically, if I would simplify, so your goal with this project, right, is to reduce amount of time which drivers spend to reach the rider, and with that it's provide better service, means Uber have better brand. Also it makes operations faster, means Uber can generate more money during that.
That's kind of the point, to generate more money.
Of course.
But
so
my scope is a little smaller than that. It was just basically have this directional metric of moving if drivers are coming closer or further away from something, right? And to make it scalable. So scalable. My boss wanted it to not scale too much with the number of drivers, but I ended up writing something that doesn't, the computational cost doesn't depend on the number of drivers at all.
I got you. So you kind of was biased for action, and you take it as your responsibility to make it scalable for any city, any country.
It wasn't, but it was a nice thing to have, right? And it was. This is where engineering meets science, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is sounds like scalability sounds like engineering task, not like data scientist. So how you do this communication going between data scientists or applied scientists and engineers, and how your team operates?
So at least at Uber, engineers would mean someone who the engineering person would be writing production code or writing some supporting infrastructure, right? So writing production code, right? Code that runs on servers, or where you're on your phone, for example, right? So, and then data science, applied science, they inform engineers and they direct them into features that they need need development. Back end, front end, maybe communication, data storage, right? So
it's if I understood correctly, so basically data scientists and applied scientists work together to provide a piece of code with piece of functionality with business logic, which software engineer then going to use as source of truth.
Sometimes.
And when it's not like that?
Well, let's say take an example, some feature of Uber app, for example. So there is this thing reserve, right? For example, when you can open your app and you need a ride to the airport at 3 a.m.
Yeah, I got you.
You wouldn't be able to, you're afraid you wouldn't be able to get there, right? And there's this feature that allows you to order it in advance. And then it's up to Uber to fulfill it, right? And it's close to 100% reliability right now.
Wow.
So data scientists, their task, and data engineers, applied science and data scientists, they would scope how much money this feature brings Uber, how much money is it going to cost, is it profitable, is it going to be profitable or not, design how this feature would work, is collaboration between
many departments,
applied scientists and product managers, right? And then engineers come in and we tell them what we want from them, and they tell us the lift, right? What's going to take, how many engineering hours, what changes need to be done on back end, on front end, communication.
So it's going to be estimation for for it, and applied scientist going to make prediction. Is it going to be reasonable to spend resources of company to make this update or increment for this kind of
Yeah,
feature.
yeah. So let's say we are launching this product, right?
Yep.
And then we need to understand what's its revenue, right? How much revenue it brings, how much it costs us. Does it hurt other products, right? How much?
Okay.
And then we implement experiments that tell us all that, all of the metrics, all the metrics that we want.
Why it's work of data scientists or applied scientists, not like financial analytics, where the line between these two roles?
So when we talk about financial department, they are mostly setting targets for profits, profitability. They tell us what our budget is for this product and that product, right? So, and then to inform their decisions, they need some metrics from us, right?
Okay.
How much, this is how much money we can spend. This is how much money we bring, all that stuff.
Okay, nice. So I got it. So they more like have helicopter view on the spendings on the projects.
You can think about this way.
And applied scientists more like implementing and in details what's going on with with costs. Nice. So and you have PhD diploma, right?
Yeah.
So in economics.
Right.
So you basically you're MD Istomin, right?
Well, MD would be medical doctor.
Oh, okay. So
PhD is doctor of philosophy.
Yeah. So we have like PD in the airports and
I changed my delta. What was it, pronoun? In front of the doctor Istomin. Yeah.
Prefix before your last name, but it's kind of cool. Yeah, I mean, it feels like it's maybe like the major reason to obtain PhD.
There's this joke.
Yeah. So can you explain it? Does it matter like how you decided to get a PhD diploma and why you did it?
So in my case, it was not a very well thought decision, but for most people, so how most people decide to get a diploma, right? So they understand that PhD will take 5 years out of their life, right?
Yeah.
So it's
enormous amount.
Yeah, you're living in poverty, you're getting paid shit, like $25,000-$30,000.
$25,000-$30,000.
Maybe now a year.
A year.
Yeah.
After taxes is like per month.
No,
how much?
Taxes are not high on this kind of salary.
So it's like 10%. So it's around like $2,000-$3,000.
$2,000 a year, a month. Yeah.
So is it possible to survive on this money in the United States?
It's possible to survive on less money, but it's not. I mean, it's not a good life. And then why are you doing that? Because after that you've gained a lot of human capital if you're good. So it's like a filter, right? So
what do you mean getting a lot of capital?
You're getting human capital, right? So accumulating human capital.
Networking.
Not just networking. It's a lot of studying. You're getting to learn
access,
new techniques, new modern methods. If you're going to good university, also you do get a lot of networking with good professors, and then if they like you, it's a real plus.
Yeah. So okay, and how it was in your case? So basically, as I know, it was the reason why you came to the US. So how it was?
Many Russians, it's also, and there's another benefit: you're getting out of Russia.
Yeah, gotcha.
Yeah. So
So why did you decide to get out of Russia?
If you paraphrase like some commercial slogan, you can be in Russia, be protesting against Putin, and be alive and outside prison, but you need to choose two.
Okay. I see your point.
Yeah.
So you kind of.
Yeah, in my generation, there were a lot of people who left because of that. It was like 2011, 2014, when I was doing my master's degree and I started to work. It was a rough time politically, and it was getting worse, right? So the derivative was really bad. So right now, absolute values are a lot worse, but it stays bad. So yeah.
So basically, you were at Russia in 2011, 2012,
yeah,
and you were a student which participated in protests.
Yeah.
And that's kind of like ended up.
Yeah, I can to put it in a framework. I remember my first like rallies. And there were Navalny and Yashin.
Rallies? What is like protests?
Protests,
okay.
Yeah. And there were just 100 people.
100 people?
Yeah, that's how old I am. So
it's like where? In which
it was
city?
in Moscow, in Bolotnaya Square, okay. Yeah.
So, and then it's become bigger and bigger.
Yeah. I saw it growing enormously in during 2010, 11, 12.
So you personally knew Navalny, right?
Yeah.
I see.
And, well, I worked for him a little bit.
Okay.
For his campaigns, donated and volunteered.
During your students year, right?
Mm-hmm, yeah.
And have you at this time did you work for any job, or it was like
yeah, I was it was weird. I was working for government sponsored think tank, and I was in prison for doing one of the rallies against elections. That was weird.
So
a little weird.
How long they detained you?
At the time, it was not long. It was
15 days.
15 yeah, days. My 15 days was a maximum that you could get. I got 2 days.
So, and how it was? Did you?
It was fun. Actually, it was fun. It wasn't that bad. I can't complain. So no one tortured me. No electric shocks. No anything like that. No things that you're thinking.
No soap on the floor. No. That's good. Yeah. And you say like at that time it wasn't so bad. So now it's much worse, right? Yeah. So basically, from what I understood, you had your political reason to get out of Russia, right? And you decided to get PhD in the United States. Yeah. Right.
It was so after the university I went to, a lot of people have been leaving for the PhDs, and I just
from your generation, from
from my class.
Oh, okay.
I had a class of 60 people, and I think 15 went to PhDs.
They also participate in protests, or
some of them, yeah.
Yeah, so nice.
So and then, there were people who left right after a master's degree, and then there were people who have stuck along. They were working for a year or two. I worked for 2 years. It was probably too long. So yeah, and I was probably the last one from my class to go to PhD. So I've wasted 2 years working.
For government.
Mm-hmm.
Got it. So you kind of
not for government. Yeah. Government sponsored think tank.
Yeah, I got it. So basically, you have a lot of people from your environment who use this way to get out of Russia, and you were the last one who kind of
probably
okay. I have to do it as well because I'm in trouble.
That was not the only reason, but it was the last straw probably. Yeah, and
what else you motivated?
Well, so I saw the limit to your development, what you can achieve without a PhD. And for me, I felt like it was worth taking those 5 years and removing that ceiling for the things you can achieve.
And what was the goal that days?
So when you're starting PhD, you can have at the end there are two main paths you can take. So one is academia, one is industry. And that's for successful PhDs who found a good job. Academia pays less, but some would say it's lower stress and more secure job.
Sorry to interrupt you. Academic way, you mean it's like to be a teacher, right?
Professor.
Yeah. And how much professor could make as an economic PhD?
So at the time I was graduating, professor would make around $140,000 per year.
140.
Yeah.
Got it. And
in the US.
In the US. And second way is
industry, and then there it can be a lot more dispersed. So it can be industry like first year tech companies, second year tech companies, banks, all that stuff. So for the first job, it would be approximately the same.
So how much you make in your first job after PhD?
So my first job paid around 150.
150. So 150. It's just cash, no stocks, no signing bonds.
Well, some of it was.
What was the company? First company.
So the company you wouldn't have heard about it. It was called Affinity.
Affinity, okay. Yeah. And what the products did they make?
They did software for call centers. That's basically routing calls.
And what you did there?
I did same thing. Data science, applied science for figuring out, learning how much a call is influenceable by an agent, and then figuring out the optimal way to route calls to agents.
So optimize the routes in between.
To optimize whatever the client wants, let's say sales that go through this call center, or retention, whatever.
So sounds like regardless to the company, the role of applied scientists or data scientists is to optimize existing process according to the data, right?
Yeah. Let data inform your products and improve your products according to the data.
Okay, got it. Nice. And so after you have these two routes, like one to academic way and one to industry way, so how it was for you? Actually, how did you feel this 5 years living for 25-30K per year, right? How it was? What is your thoughts during all of these 5 years?
It's a lot of stress. First couple of years, you're just fighting for survival to get into this, pass the coursework and pass the qualifying exams, and then you're doing your research, and it's again a lot of stress. And then last year, it's even more stress, finishing up your job market paper, finding a job, applying to 100 places.
Okay, so it's for OPT, right?
I was on J visa, so
okay.
I mean it's not
that hard.
It's not about administrative process to get a job permit. It's about finding a job, and because there is around 10,000 maybe graduates, PG graduates every year, and you can imagine there's a lot of competition for jobs.
So how many times you wanted to give up all of that, or it wasn't an option?
It kind of wasn't in some sense. It wasn't an option. No, I didn't even consider quit. Okay. I did pretty well. I can't complain. So because my background combined with a pretty good school where I went, so I found my sweet spots, and I think I wrote good papers. So for me, it wasn't hard. And
wrote good papers, you mean good?
I did good research.
Oh,
I did computational economics research, because by my first education, I did computational physics, and computational physics and computational economics there.
Okay.
Just solving different equations, but it's solving equations all the same.
And how this knowledge helps you? I mean, before I met you, I kinda didn't even realize that the person with economic PhD degree could be a data scientist. So how these knowledges which you obtain during your studying, you implement them in your literal engineering job. So
you'd be surprised. So in my previous job, almost every applied science data scientist, almost all of us were PhDs in economics. So certainly all the top ones were. And currently at Uber, I would say at least 3/4 of all the applied scientists above level 4, like level 5 and up, they're all almost exclusively PGs in economics.
Okay.
So why is that?
Why?
Well, because the skill set that's required for applied science has a lot of overlap with applied economics, especially applied microeconomics, and it uses so the techniques that are developed by applied economists in the 80s and 90s and early 2000s. They are very well applied to modeling big populations of consumers or drivers.
So basically, because the main goal of data scientists is to optimize existing process in a company and increase generating of revenue, right? And that's why it's so close to economics problems, right?
I would put it in a slightly different way. Think about your product, right?
Okay.
Your product has customers.
Yep.
Or like in Uber, it has two sides, right? Customers, drivers,
yep.
Customers, riders.
Yep.
Sometimes it's only one side, but always your product will have users. And how much revenue it brings depends on actions of your users. And those are not machines, those are people. And to model behavior of those users, you need to, you're modeling the behavior of real people.
Okay.
Right? And this is what economics,
that makes sense.
Microeconomics does very well. Analyze, not just modeling it, but analyzing and tailoring models of their behavior, figuring out the parameters and understanding how well have you trained your model. Finding exogenous variation, all of that stuff, like causal inference is very important, something very important. That's taught by economists and applied in a lot of industries this way.
This is definitely insight for me today that literally you need to make a projection for people's behavior, for customers' behavior. And that's why the tools which economic studies provides, this is why this works. Nice. Okay. And after like how many years or how long you worked for your first company before you hopped to the Uber?
So I've been there a little under 3 years.
3 years.
Wow. A little under, yeah.
Okay. And why it was so long? Like why? I mean, is it you enjoyed this job, or why not decided to hop like after year or year and a half? So in the industry we have this standard to work like in the first job like 1 year or 2 years and then hop.
Oh, well, that was related to my immigration status because that job was doing me a green card.
Okay.
And that's, I mean,
I got
if you ask any immigrant, they have stuck with their first employer until the green card.
I can feel it right now, because I'm in the same position. Nice. And like what was your decision? How the decision making process was while you decided to go to Uber? Why Uber? Why not, I don't know, any other company? Why particularly Uber?
So I felt like I was underpaid for my qualifications, and
do you have any raise during these 3 years?
I did, but it was not enough to keep me motivated.
Because company do not appreciate loyalty of employees.
Well, that wasn't a big, it was a small company, and it was mainly Pakistani company, right?
Okay.
And they have a different way to motivate you.
Okay.
So they used to different motivations, right?
So they provide sweets or
yeah, sometimes and tea. No, I mean their approach was different. Let's put it that way. And I just decided I deserve more, and all my asks weren't met. So I just said, okay, fine. I'm just gonna go get some new offer and then squeeze them for money because I kind of like my job. But it coincided that when I started this job search, there was this huge bidding in the market. If you remember last, like a year ago,
COVID thing, like everything, like,
everyone was just hiring as crazy. Amazon, Facebook, and that.
Not like this year, like in 2022.
That's probably a consequence of that.
Yeah, definitely.
So everyone was bidding a lot, and salaries were growing up like crazy, maybe 50% a year. And I rode this wave. So
nice.
So yeah, I got an offer, and I've got an offer, I understood that no way they're gonna match it. So it was like,
what the numbers
3
were?
times.
Like, I know you can't say exact numbers, but for the same position, like, can you provide like a range or like?
Yeah, I had a feeling that wave of offers, the bidding war between companies, it was coming to an end, and I was almost right. So it ended maybe like 3 months after I've joined Uber. Companies stopped. Some companies had hiring freeze. Some companies just started firing people. But yeah, so I kind of clutched to my first offer, which is not recommended, by the way, in all other regular circumstances.
So you didn't negotiate it?
No. I was surprised by their first offer, and I just, okay, I'm getting it. I had a feeling I needed to take it because it was so much more than I was getting before, and I just didn't feel like I'm up to one more round of offers, job talks, and it's taking time, So yeah, I just grabbed that first offer. Not recommending it, doing it any time in the future, unless you're riding that wave of the bidding war between companies and you're feeling that it's coming to an end.
So kind of now you would negotiate and you will have
for my next job. Yes, okay. I would.
I see. So basically, you just multiply your like total comp in
more than 2 times, less than 3 times.
Okay. And it was like sign-in bonus, shares. What looks like in Uber? Because I heard you told me that first year it's kind of like tricky because can you please?
Yeah. So they give you signing bonus. They give you moving bonus. They give you shares, regular, cash. And then at Uber it winds down, right? So at Uber, like your salary goes down because you're getting less and less shares, and you need to keep working.
So first year is how much share in process?
So you get 35% of your stock in the first year, and then 30 in the second, and then I believe 20 by default or something like that in the third. But then they refresh it if you're working well. So by default, if you don't doing anything, your salary will go down.
I see. So
unlike in other companies, like in Google, it goes up, right? And then you're getting motivated more and more and more. But on the other hand, in the first year, you might not be so motivated, and then.
So you kind of need to fight to be flat at Uber, right?
Yeah.
It's kind of like weird, I would say, because it feels like you just need to work first year and then hope to another company.
I mean, they give you refresh, and then you get promoted if you work well. I know a lot of people who get promoted after a year and a half, so that's not a problem.
Got it. And so basically, the interview process for Uber, how it was, it's like engineering tasks. Yeah.
They ask you engineering questions. Yeah, there is this code part of it.
Lead code part.
But I mean,
it's easy. Lead code easy, like medium.
They're verifying that you are not so dumb you cannot write the simplest problem in Python, right? Let's put it that way. So you have to be able to pass the, first grader task, and there is no anything algorithmic. I mean, there is something algorithmic, but you can rate green levels and lead code, like that. It's different for engineers, though. For engineers, they are asking real hard questions. Yeah. It was mostly talks about.
So it's like first you have like conversation with HR as usual, right? Then you have kind of like, we have as software engineers, we have tech screening next round. Is it the same for you?
No, it's more of think of it as like economic screening. You're talking to someone who's applied scientist, and I'm just trying to understand if you're an interesting person or not. What are your skills? Not going deeply, just touching your outer envelope of what you can do.
So it's more like at Amazon, it's like leadership principles.
No, it's all later. They just talking about your current job.
Okay.
What are you doing? What methods are you using? In broad details, not in
without details.
Yeah.
So kind of to understand like what are you actually doing, like what impact you have on your job, and so on and so
then
forth.
One more round like that, and then 5
different person.
Yeah, different person
from teams which you're going to work with, or from different
no
teams?
no just general applied science.
Okay.
And then if you pass that, you go to virtual on-site. It was virtual at my time. Then and then 5 rounds of talking to people. One of them is technical code review, but that's the easiest one. Then again, talks to scientists, but in deep detail. How would you approach? They give you a problem. Let's say we're seeing that, for example, one of the problems would be like, should we tell drivers where they're going, where the trip will take them, right?
Yeah.
What's the
last destination?
Start point, end point, right? And then you need to tell them the story, how it affects drivers, how it affects riders, how would you design, measure its effects, and it's an hour-long conversation, and they're basically judging how do you think? There's no correct answer.
Yeah, right? So it's like kind of a design question. How you would design like compute this data, how you would you do your analysis, how you will do your science, basically.
And how in general, what are your thoughts on how do you think about this problem? How do you approach it? And well, I didn't say it right. There are wrong answers. There is no correct answer, but there are many wrong answers.
So kind of triggers. It's like in the software engineering interviews, we have the same like basically design interviews where we design the products. But of course, it's like they looking for triggers, and some things could trigger them in a bad way. So
that's right.
Okay, I got it. Okay, I would like to talk about like some simple funny stuff. So you have interesting tattoos. Tell a story of your tattoos, and maybe you can show
right. So I'm not sure I can raise it far enough, but this tattoo is the Maxwell's equations, right? And
so for what this
that's the system of equations that's describing the all the electromagnetic phenomena in the universe.
Okay.
And by the way, one of our engineers, the main engineer who's PhD in physics, he said, "Oh, are you sure this is zero?" I have a friend who is trying to disprove it.
Okay, so like
So basically, that's this system of equations that predicts existence of light as electromagnetic wave. So that's I like the tattoos that have meanings, and this is something universal.
Okay.
Right. Nice. And my other tattoo is Dirac equation for relativistic electron, which represents darkness for me because
nice.
Because electrons, they absorb light, and that's why it's darkness, and this is light. So
interesting.
Very deep meaning. I have a funny story about this. I have a friend with whom we walked on. We took a hike around Mount Rainier, a week-long hike, and he has all his body covered with tattoos, like art tattoos, right?
Okay.
So funny tattoos, and
not data scientist PhD art.
And we had this discussion. He said, "Imagine Mount Rainier is exploding right now. We buried under the ashes, and 5,000 years after that, people uncover us, and then they find my body and they say, oh wow, these guys had a real good taste in the art. They had perfect art. And then they find your body and then say, oh, these guys were so stupid. They believe in this bullshit. Maxwell equations, what?
I got you. So it's going to be outdated to these days.
If you ask me, I would say that, yeah, Maxwell equations would be probably outdated first.
Why?
Not very soon.
Why?
Well, because they're so rigid. Yeah, because, well, Dirac equation describes the behavior of relativistic electron. It's a very simple object. And Maxwell equations are a lot harder. And there are more breaking points where it can break.
Nice. Okay, got it. What is your superpower?
I would say something like train of thought. Yeah. When I'm thinking about something, I can sit on that train and then
train of thoughts.
Yeah, come up with a solution that's not so obvious.
So you kind of go in deeper and deeper.
Yeah. I can go very deep, and I can give you a solution that no one could see.
So it's about depth.
Depth, yeah.
So it's like, I got you. So your superpower is you can dig really deep.
Yeah, really, really deep.
Okay. And is it fast process?
No, it's very slow.
Very slow.
And expensive. For my employers.
I see what you're saying.
At the end, they never complain.
Yeah, okay, it's nice. So any thoughts which you would like to share with people who are going to watch this this interview podcast? Maybe some advices to young data scientists, supply scientists. How they could.
There is no universal advice, but if you feel like it, you can do PhD. Just be prepared. It's going to be tough and hard, and you need to talk to someone who's doing it right now and weigh their emotional stress and just talk to people.
Okay, I see. Good.
Listen to what they say.
So, but in general, the PhD works outside of big tech. Is it matter?
Yeah, it's worth it. It pays very well at the end. Like, if you can get through it, not everyone can though.
10%, 20% more in pay.
50%, I would say.
50%, 15 or 50?
50%.
50%.
Go through it and get a good job at the end.
Nice. Okay, that sounds nice. That sounds like traditional education. Traditional education could bring you a lot of value.
Yeah.
Thank you, Roman. Thank you for being here. Thanks, guys, for watching. This was Kirill Sekulov and Roman Istomin. You can subscribe or not subscribe my channel. This is your life. Rule it by yourself. Yeah. See you.